Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. This is Reviving Real News. I apologize for the end of my last video. I have no idea what happened or why it did what it did. I really just didn't want to go back and redo it. So I'm just going to pick right up and get into the last part of this chapter. I hope y'all doing good. And fellas, I understand. I understand more than you can ever imagine how I understand. I do. I understand all that homeless stuff. I understand everything with the food, the housing, the hygiene, the clothing. I understand all of it. I understand the isolation. I understand the not having the material stuff. Look, I understand all of this. I had to process and learn and teach myself all of these things and everything without no male helping me. Ain't no role model, no figure, no messenger, nobody, anything. I did this all on my own. I understand the loneliness. I understand the regretting, the feelings. I understand everything that you're going to come at me and say, with the exception of the using illicit drugs like that or in hardcore drinking, because I can't relate to that really. I can't. I can't. I'm not perfect. No, I've made mistakes and I've done things, but I've never taken the deep dark plunge like that. So I can't relate to navigating and handling this kind of life altering scenarios with that because I have not lived it. So no, I don't have any experience navigating the homelessness or shelters or the system or child support or whatever when drugs and stuff like that are involved or gambling. No, I don't. Those are certain things that I've been fortunate that I've not dabbled in and had become dark clouds in my life. But I do get it, guys. I get the homelessness and I get it with the housing right now. I get it. I'm living it. I get it. I get it. I personally, as the more I'm doing this and opening up, I wish I had means to network or talk to certain people or whatever, because I'm nobody, but I'm seeing now, especially this morning, listening to other people and seeing some comments that I didn't see before, things I didn't hear before. I wish I did have means to reach people because, again, I'm not an expert and I'm not a professional. I don't have no stupid crackerjack box degree for XYZ University about any of these social things, but I probably am more versed than these so-called professionals, and I probably am way more quicker at telling you how to do it or where to go get it and doing it properly than a lot of the people with the degrees and the paper pushing and everything. I don't have anything invested in it except the well-being and the positive outcome of the men on the other end. These people have other means to do what they do. That's my regret, is I don't, for whatever reasons, I just don't have reach to people. Because I sure could. I sure could sit with people and I could talk to people and tell them I can relate to this. I can relate. I can relate to with the attitudes, the anger, the tone of voices, the hatred, the depression, the anxiety. I can relate to all of it. You know, I can tell people how to, or why you're feeling the way you feel. I can tell people it's okay to feel this, and I can tell people how to go do this while you're feeling and reacting the way you are. Like, see, I know how to do all that. I know how to go on the website or do thing. I know how to walk into the agency and do something. I know how to talk. I know what to say to get what you need. I know how to do this. And a lot of people don't, man. And now more than ever, men like us need help and don't know how to do things and or have the access or even how to talk or type on what to do. And that's my regret, is that I don't have the reach to talk to people or to show or to help. Because in a way I feel like certain people I probably could do something because I know what to do and how to do it. Certain people's situations aren't as bad as mine, and the knowledge and experience I have, I could probably do some things for people because I know how to get it. I know where to go and I know what to say and what to do. I know how to present yourself. These social workers and these other agencies don't tell you these things because you got to understand something, guys. There's a difference in doing it on your own and a difference in doing it with the help of the system. The system's got a reason to be doing things and helping you and whatever because they benefit from it. But when you got to go do it on your own, it's a whole different animal, man. You got to know what to do. You got to know how to talk, how to look, how to act. You got to know all certain things. You got to play certain roles and humble and, there's a lot, man. Just know that I get it, guys. I get it. Believe me. I'm getting, somewhat emotional doing this and just everything because I want to be able to do something. I wish I could change things. Not for myself, man. I'm done. I already know I'm done and over. I know this. At 39 years old here on September the 24th, I know that I'm done. I will never have a life. I've never had a life. I will never be allowed a family. I will never be allowed to see my family. I will never be allowed to bury my mother. I'll never be allowed to say anything to my sister. I'll never be allowed to have a decent vehicle if I'm ever allowed to have whatever kind of a vehicle. I'm never going to be allowed to have housing as far as, like housing, guys, not some whatever where you're constantly terrified of being evicted or being whatever because whoever sells to the commies or whoever sells to the Chinese. We know what's going on in the country I live in. We all know. We all see it. We all know, okay? That's what I mean by housing. I'm not afforded these rights. I know that I'm done. And I know no one's going to step in and care. I know no one's going to be there. I know no one's going to hang out with me. I know this. I know no one's going to ever be there. I know what it's like to spend every kind of whatever important day by yourself. I've learned how to do it. All of it. All the in and outs, the nitpicking, I know all of it. The stoicism, the isolation. I know how to do it all, man. And did nobody teach me these things on how to be comfortable alone, how to get used to it. And nobody taught me how to be able to live without any kind of access to anything. No money, no family, no acquaintances, no networking. Like, nobody taught me anything. So I sit here today as I'm doing this, and I'm like, man, I've had it bad, and I've had it worse than the vast majority of people. But I look at what I have learned and what I've done, and I'm like, man, I can't help but feel like I want to do something or try to make things better or different for other people. Because like I said, I know I'm done. I know that I'm done. I'm never going to have a holiday. I'm never going to have a birthday. I've never had a Father's Day. I'm not going to blame the kids for that. I never had nothing. I never been invited to anything or included in anything. So I do understand, guys. I don't know the last time I ever had a happy birthday. I don't know the last time I ever had, hey, I know you're going through whatever. I got you if whatever you need to talk. I got you if you need something to eat. I got you if you need help getting from A to B. I've never had this. I've never had how are you doing? Good morning. I've never had that. I ain't never heard of, I was just thinking of you, seeing if you're okay. I ain't never had none of this stuff, man. I don't have a close friend from years ago that families consider me part of theirs. I don't have any of this, man. I don't have no whatever from high school that's still in my life and invites me to dinners or fishing or to watch sports. I don't have nobody right now that even cares if I'm going to be able to find a way to fix my situation. I don't have no one that gives a crap if I'm going to die from this. I have nobody that cares if I mentally lose my stuff. Like mentally lose my capacity to handle this. I have nobody that cares. I mean nobody. Nobody calls my phone. Nobody texts me. Nobody knocks on my door. Nobody. I do understand, guys. I do. I understand better than you better than you know. I do. Believe me, I do. It changes everything, man. Like, it changes everything. But let's get back to the topic at hand and the focus of this discussion. Guys, I'm here. I know. I understand. I do. and my heart pours and bleeds for you. I'm sorry for getting this way, guys, but I do. It's important to me. It's important to me, and I've kept my mouth shut for so long. I don't like what they do to us. I don't like how they treat us. I don't like how they turn us against us. I don't like that so many men across this world sit alone and don't nobody give two F's if they okay, if they eat. Don't nobody get included on no holiday. Don't nobody care if you breathe. Don't nobody care, man. I know. And I hate it. I hate it from the bottom of my heart and soul. I hate it. You guys ain't alone, man. I hate this. I hate that I can't do anything for anybody. I hate it. I hate it from the bottom of my heart. I can't do nothing for nobody. I can't save nobody. I can't change nothing for nobody. And nobody takes me serious. And don't nobody take these things serious at all in the real world. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I am human. I am human. I am. Ain't nobody, you guys ain't alone, man. This is what the gentleman's club and what this space and going your own way and guarding your wallet is about, man. These kind of things ain't about no stupid videos and thumbnails and didn't get this and didn't do that and look at what they did and look at how they act and talk. And that's not it, guys. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is the criminal system, guys. This segment's the criminal system. So at the end of my video, I'm telling you about the last video. I'm telling you about the homelessness and everything, and I get it. I understand the programs, the shelters. You don't get no money. You don't get no access to anything, especially if you have a job. You just don't. Child support doesn't count for anything. It does not count against anything. Like, you can go and get food stamps and get cash assistance and get housing, and they'll take student, like college stuff into consideration. They take, if you're enrolled in classes, into consideration. There's all kinds of things they take into consideration to give you money or to give you food or to give you housing. But divorce and child support are not included in those. But let's get to the prison system, guys. I was oblivious to anything because I had been told everything was good to go on my end, so I was living my life accordingly. I doing everything I was supposed to do, working. I always worked. And the one job that I had, I actually quit this job on Valentine's Day. And I was only unemployed for a couple weeks. That's the truth. I remember being whatever my feelings for about so many days, but I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the doing nothing or being in my apartment. I just couldn't take it. I don't know what the drive was, but I just couldn't do it. So I did. I went and got a job within 2 weeks on my own, and nobody helped me or put my foot in the door. Somebody mentioned to me that they had a couple people they knew that worked somewhere, and that if I got in, they could help make it easy for me by having inside connections, which is the route I took, the path of least resistance. So fast forward through, me working and everything, okay? Let's fast forward through all that. And I was in this transitional housing. Well, eventually my transitional housing is over because it's not a whole permanent thing. It's not a years program. It's a 9 to 12 month program. I had to go find something on my own that was not involved in programs because I was not eligible. I was not homeless. And I would ride my stuff would run its course. So I eventually have to go on my own, and I'm doing this, and I'm working at everything. This is when I find out, really, guys, how hard it is. I can't do anything. I'm renting a room. Like, when I left I had an apartment. I had a nice apartment. I had everything. I had to go find somebody who was taking a room. Like, the transitional housing literally helped me And then they went and paid there was a husband and wife. They were an older couple. They went and paid these people to let me live there. Like, they had to pass an inspection. They had to be approved. Their financial stuff had to be approved, you know. But once that was cleared, that's when transitional housing was done and everything was on me. Like, I was the one that was going to be evicted if something didn't happen. I was the one who, you guys get it, it was like a legitimate living thing. And I'm here to tell you guys, you can't, without help, it's impossible. No matter how much I worked, no matter anything, it didn't make a difference. It didn't matter. It did not matter. In some way, somehow, you're always short. You're always short. So then you're doing things to have the money for your to rent the room and have access, you know, to the place to live. Well, dude, eventually the people's patience, no matter how transparent. I mean, these people saw my stuff. They knew it. It's just eventually people don't care, and especially when there's females involved. When a woman's not getting whatever they want or feel, it's over because of her. Whatever's going to get to the man of the house, and that's that. So, long story short, I had to because, you know, the guy didn't want no hard feelings, but he couldn't keep arguing with whatever, and I understand that. I don't hold no ill will. It is what it is. But these things don't last long, guys. They don't last, and eventually people don't want to help you. People don't want to rent to you. People don't want to help you. Your coworkers don't want you sleeping with them, like in their couches or their floors. So I had to try to go to another shelter. I had to. And this is how I got in trouble. This is exactly how I got in trouble. I'm doing everything. Everything's hunky-dory. And one day I'm going to go eat. Somebody ODs. And the paramedics, the police, everything's showing up. And I'm literally probably not even 40 yards from the door so I can go eat. And this paramedic comes around from under this like little trestle thing around this concrete pillar. I don't know if he had a weapon or what, but he's holding something in his hands and pointing right at me and screaming, "Get on the ground, yada, yada, yada." I'm not involved in any of the stuff that they're there for, but somehow, some way, this dude's on whatever he's on and he's screaming at me. I'm on the ground and doing whatever and cooperating, yada, yada. You know, 20 minutes later, the police finally come over to me and, you know, what's going on? What are you doing? And I'm transparent. I'm not doing anything. I'm trying to go home and eat. Well, of course, they finally, you know, they pat you down, make sure you ain't got no weapons or drug paraphernalia. And then he's like, "Do you have ID on you? What's going on?" And I tell him I have ID and everything. He's like, "They're going to make me run this." And he was like, "You got any warrants, or are you in any kind of trouble?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "You guys don't even know who I am. Like, I've never had a cop run me in this county or this city ever." And I told you guys that I knew what my probation was over. I knew what 5 years was. I knew that I never violated. I never did anything wrong. I was paying my arrears and my child support. Hey, I'm telling you right now that I heard it all on that little walkie-talkie on that dude's shoulder. I heard it, man. I heard the whole stupid thing. That cop comes up to me and he says, "Man, I got bad news, dude." And he's like, "I don't even want to tell you this and don't want to do this." He's like, "But if they come back in the next," he's like, "there's a time limit." He was like, "They got to come back on the radio and say that they want to pick up this. If they want to pick it up," he's like, "I got to take you in custody. I got to book you." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You got a warrant in such and such county for this." And I said, "For what?" I said, "Say that again." He said, "For this." And I said, "Dude, you better get back on that effing radio and you better get with the probation department." I said, "Because this was ordered from this to this. I have no violations or nothing. No anything." They had already did their dirty stuff, dude, behind my back without me ever knowing it. Yeah, they picked it up. They straight picked it up. I got booked. I got took to the jail. I had to do the extraditing process. You got to waive whatever. You got to sign papers and you don't fight it. You basically cooperate, allow them to come get you without having an arraignment or allow whatever. Yeah, I mean, I was in that jail for that night, woke up, had breakfast, whatever, was going to get lunch. And when I was going to get lunch is when they said, "Hey, you're out of here." You know, they're on their way or they're already downstairs. They were there. They came and got me. And that's the beginning of the end. That's the beginning of the end. This is the nitty gritty. This is the horror stories. This is everything. I'm in there going through the process and everything. The first thing that really got me as I'm getting booked and you're taking your shoes off and going through everything, they come out with their paperwork and they start asking you questions, writing stuff down. They asked me for contacts and, people to, emergency stuff or people to this and that. I couldn't answer him. That guy's getting real rude with me and he's like, hey man, he's calling me cuss words and calling me names. And I said, dude, I can't give you something. Well, you need to make up something. You need to say this. And I said, okay, the Lord. I said, God Almighty. Hey, these people don't care, man. They don't care. They see what your charges are. They all know. I'm telling you, man, them child endangerers and them people who do bad things to women and them druggies and them dealers and everything, they all get treated better than you. All of them do, man. All of them, bro. All of them. So I go through, I'm in there. Got to go through all this. And it's, 2 or 3 days later. It's 2 or 3 days later. I have to, you have to have an arraignment. You have to go in front of a judge or a magistrate. You have to. And child support's a whole different thing than everybody else. And the guy, all of us that morning that went for our bond or arraignment, none of us. We're all, none of us even, all he did was call us up there to ask us how we plead and didn't even ask us about bonds or nothing. It's right away, well, how do you plead? These are the charges, blah, 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 blah. And then everybody goes right back to jail. Meanwhile, all the people who touch kids and sell drugs on school property and everything else, OR bonds, $50 bonds, $100 bonds. Somebody's in the courtroom. Oh, well, we're going to release you into so-and-so's custody. Nobody for child support gets to go home. Nope. Not at all. That happens, okay, yada. It's just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. It was probably the next day or the day after, in the late morning, early afternoon, they buzzed you in the speaker in the cell. And I'm told to come down to the tape line. There's like these lines you can't cross, or it's an escape charge, or it's an assault on staff. I'm, doing what I'm supposed to do, go down there. The doors open from the outside to come into the pod. And it's this woman I ain't never seen in my life. Never seen this woman, got a whole bunch of papers. And she comes in and she looks at the CO, I guess to verify that I'm who she's looking for. And this chick's gonna start reading me the effing riot act. Telling me I did this and did that, didn't do this and didn't do that. I'm like, lady, I don't have a clue who you are. You are not my probation officer. I never signed anything with you. You've never called me, mailed me a letter, nothing. I was like, what you're doing is illegal. It's called double jeopardy. It didn't matter. That lady had legal documents, notarized, everything for the warrant, for the violations, and for her supposedly saying she drove 5 hours, then come knocked on my door and said I needed to do this, or they were transferring my stuff to where I was living. It's all a lie. It was all a lie. I mean, it was all a lie. We got into a heated argument right there in front of everybody. And I'm like, look, I didn't even get a bond or anything. I said, you have taken everything from me. You took my housing, my clothing, my job, everything. And I said, now I can't pay. And I can't pay because of you. I said, I would like a bond here, and I would like some kind of opportunity to get out of here to save my housing or save my clothes. And I want to be able to defend myself. She was rude, very rude, disrespectful, feminist, could not care less. Oh, you're not leaving. You're not going anywhere. Only opportunity you're going to have is you better play the game. What are you talking about, lady? I ain't playing no games. I'm not playing the game with anybody or myself. I have done nothing wrong. Well, only way I can tell you, the only chance you're going to ever see the outside, you're going to play the game. We've got several diversion programs. We got several drug rehab things. We got several. And I was adamant. It got to the point where I was done with this nonsense from this stupid woman. I didn't care. I'm already in. What are you going to do to me? I walked away. I took the papers from her. Didn't give two F's. Looked at that guard. I walked back up the stairway and up on the top range and went back to my stuff. I ain't listening to this. I could care less, man. I kid you not. This probation officer goes back to the court system and the pretrial services. I get no bond. I get no opportunity to leave. Fellas, this system, The criminal system, the child support is disgustingly inhumane. It's torture. How this isn't some kind of stuff they do to people in like captive prison play, I don't understand this. This lady goes to the pretrial people and the judge. It says I have to be going through some kind of wartime mental evaluation. I'm talking the whole kit and caboodle of the drug and alcohol probing. I'm talking like all these agencies come in, paperwork, voice recordings, everything, man. This is insane. For non-support, and the only opportunity that I'm told that I can have to be free or to go home. And guys, here's where I'm different than a lot of other people, okay? I've been in trouble before, so I kind of have experience with certain things. I wasn't afraid necessarily of being incarcerated. I was afraid of losing my stuff on the outside for when my sentence was over. I didn't want to be homeless again, and I didn't want to have no clothes. Or you see my point? I wasn't necessarily afraid of the system itself, like doing my time to get it over with. But I did nothing wrong, and I didn't have any time, so I'm built different, guys. I shut down shop. I remember looking at the first gentleman, the first psychiatrist, or the so-called expert on alcohol and drug, whatever it is. I looked at him. I said, dude, you guys are the system. You have access to everything about me. Do I have any kind of paraphernalia, alcohol, drugs, marijuana, rock cocaine, anything? Any kind of needles or any kind of stuff on any of my school record, my adult record, my juvenile record? And then I had to pause because I did have I got busted with seeds and stems once in a stupid ashtray. But that probably was probably expunged off my record because it's a misdemeanor. But they know that I don't have these issues. They know I don't. It's all about money, fellas. You see my point to you in this? Is don't nobody care. This is about money. I did nothing wrong. I violated nothing. I didn't break the law. This was a loophole they found to violate me, to get me in their programs and their stupid drugs and everything, so they can make money off of me. To make me suicidal. To make me on alcohol and drugs. To make me turn to the devil and all these horrible lifestyle things. To be stuck in their Baphomet system. They don't care about you, your life, your health, your mental health, anything. You are a bag of money, nothing more, nothing less. That is it. It is inhumane, it is criminal, and it goes against all these so-called treaties and stuff we have on this planet Earth. UN, my, you know what. Nobody cares about human rights. I scoffed at every one of these fools. I scoffed at all of them. I scoffed at their stupid mental health. I scoffed at their drugs and alcohol. But the doctors involved and the court people involved with the drugs and alcohol program, finally, after 3 days of this, agreed with me. And then the doctor in charge of my case was like, look, if I leave or if I whatever and the judge this, you're in trouble because the courts look at it as neglect or you refuse to cooperate. And he's like, that will put you behind bars forever. He was like, so this is what's going to go on. So when I have to turn this in for your pretrial, it doesn't look the way it looks. Well, that pissed off the system completely. That probation department lady, she was out for blood, man. She was looking anywhere from 3 to 5 years for me, trying to do everything. She did not care. She wanted me dead. She wanted that money, everything. And then she kept losing her feminist abilities when the whole pretrial services are like, hey, he didn't lie, and we cannot accept him because he's not gaming. He's not lying to not be in it. He's telling the truth. So you can't put him in a program or put him in a facility when there's nothing to rehab or nothing to, wean yourself off of. And then as far as let's get into the mental health, the poking, the prodding, the privacy violations, your own conscious violations. You know what I'm saying, guys? Let's make no mistake here. I don't want this on any of you. Your sons, your grandsons, your nephews, anybody. The disgusting accusations they bring up, it's like they want to break you down so you admit somebody touched you, or you admit this happened as a child. It is disgusting. The questions about your parents, the touching things, the questions about abuse. These people don't even know what abuse is, man. They want to come up and you were whatever assaulted if your mom and dad told you to shut up and go in the corner because you were cussing at the TV or because you told your sister to shut up. Like, they want to sit there and try to make it sound like the simplest forms of discipline are full-on child abuse and all this nonsense. It's disgusting. It's meant to break you down to where you submit and become docile little wimps. I hate it. I'm against any of it. And I will never forgive for that kind of experience. Hey man, I'm telling you, man, they even ask you, does your mom do things to you? They ask you some crazy off the wall stuff, man. They get in, then they have access to everything. They get into your high school. Then they have access to if the school had whatever about the parental household or child abuse. They have access to everything, man. It's disgusting, the stuff they want to try to bring up and ask you. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, it's great. They know everything. They know how many times you were absent from school. They know truancy charges. Like, they know everything. It's brutal. The questions the mental health stuff does. And it's all of this is to break you down and get you to be whatever so they can put you in a whatever to have you under the thumb and key. That's all it is, guys. A lot of men, dude, or think I'm a fool for not doing whatever. In reality, they're the fools because they were under lock and key, and they probably still are as I sit here recording this video. They're probably still on papers or some kind of supervision. Or I'm not. I did my time. I did my time. So needless to say, fellas, I kind of knew how to stand my ground and stand up for my values, principles, beliefs, my morals, everything, my faith, all of that. I wasn't playing this game. I did nothing wrong. I'm not those things, and I don't care about that mental health stuff. That mental health does not help men. It makes it worse. It makes it worse. It makes it worse. It makes everything worse, man. It makes your thoughts. It makes the whatever you try to bury and hide or keep to whatever, it makes everything worse. There's no benefit in it at all. There's no benefit. Men don't benefit by talking and crying and whining and pity and I'm a victim. Men benefit from learning, sharing, and trying to navigate or understand logic. You know what I mean? None of this stupid, oh yeah, oh, whatever. We all have bad experience with siblings and our parents, man, but what the heck? You ain't got no right accusing my parents of sodomizing me. You ain't got no right accusing me of not telling you that my parents did something. Come on, man. Like, it's gross, disgusting. And all of these things factor into the child support in the prison, man. So let's continue with the pretrial stuff. Yes, they're going to ask you about employment. They're going to ask you, why did this go on or why did this stop happening? They're going to ask you all kinds of stuff. Yes, they're going to ask you housing. They're going to ask you diet. They're going to ask you hygiene, your health, access to dentist. They're going to ask you all these stupid things, but they don't care because none of it goes into your sentencing anyways. No matter how open and honest and transparent about anything and everything, it don't freaking matter, man. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter at all. They don't care that you can't have stable... See, look, here, guys, let's just be open and honest with each other. An employer is not going to keep somebody employed when they realize they don't have stable shelter and they can't maintain the whatever access to the hygiene to at least show up and not smell musty and don't have morning breath at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you see what I'm saying? These courts know how, obviously they know how employers work and how jobs work. They know what dress code and hygiene stuff is. They also know about showing up to a job on time. The courts don't care when you tell the truth, and they also don't care when they have right in front of them the restrictions the child support order or the alimony has placed on you, as far as suspension of license, non-access to titles of cars, restrictions on housing applications or access to housings. They have all this stuff in front of them, and they don't care. They could care less. No matter the truths and everything and the facts that are supposed to help you and defend you and whatever, they don't care. It does not matter when they turn it into the judge. It does not matter when you go up there for your sentencing. None of it matters. All of this stuff is predetermined and dictated on your willingness and cooperation to be a mental midget or to be an alcohol druggie. And then the other flip side, when you don't play ball with that, they sit around in the room, in the chambers, and they figure out how much money they're going to make from you by sentencing you to the Department of Rehab and Corrections. That's all this boils down to, guys. Because once you're in this, that's it. It's over for you. It's over. And they don't care. You think these people involved with what was going to happen to me cared about the aftermath? That I'm already behind everything and everything's already whatever because of the situation. Now what you're going to do to me? So when it's over and I go back into society, what I already had worse is already expounded upon 100 times more. Now I'm definitely unemployable. Now I'm definitely behind everything, and I've gotten more money stacked up in my arrearages. See, don't nobody care because it's all about them. It's all about the what can we give back to the single mothers on welfare? Oh, well, if we keep you in the system and keep on punishing you and making you look like the whatever, we're going to get $55,000 to $65,000 when you are given that six-digit prison number. Here's the thing, fellas. They can order you to prison for 10 days to 30 days to 90 days, and you can come out scot-free. But the kicker is, you've done lost everything you had, and then that county and state just got $55,000, $60,000 for destroying your life, giving you a prison record, and making you unemployable from anybody besides McDonald's. You can't pay child support and go buy food and shelter and hygiene working at stupid Flip-A-Burger and fries. You can't do it. I'm so tired of people saying the solution to fixing problems is go get a stupid job. That don't fix anything, and for men like us in our situation, a lot of the times it makes it worse because you're going and doing the right thing, and then you get fired or you realize that you can't do it because you have nowhere to sleep, you can't get food, and you can't take a shower. These people don't care that they're making the situation worse for you, and it's because it's all about money. And fellas, yes, it does make a difference too. The sentencing and the pretrial all makes a difference when you don't have nobody. Make no mistake, they watch the phone calls, they know the mail, they know your commissary, they know your financial statements in the jail and in the prison system, okay? They all know these things, and all goes against you. All of it goes against you. When you don't have that mom or dad or that girlfriend or that really close buddy you've had your whole life since high school, when you don't have these things, man, it all goes against you. All of it goes against you. No one's in the courtroom. No one's calling the jail or calling the services. It all goes against you, man. It all does. They are fully aware of this, man. No one shows up for the visits twice a week. They know. And it all stacks up, and they use it as bullets in the chamber against you. Oh, well, he ain't got no support. He ain't got no one that cares. We're just going to go ahead and take this and twist it to the right here, dig it in about 7 more inches, turn it to the left, and we'll go ahead and pull out that kidney. They just keep on twisting and plunging that dagger deeper and deeper, removing each organ piece by piece. They don't care. They do not care, man. They don't care, period. So anyways, go through all of this stuff. All of this, man. And here's the thing that was unique to my situation and my sentencing. because the judge involved was starting to understand that there's conflicting things, and I'm not gaming the system. I'm not lying, and I don't qualify for the things the probation felt that I was doing or I was on. The judge is like trying to find ways to actually get rid of this case, or trying to make it to where I guess had to be on something for 6 months or maybe a year at the most. But as long as I provided a couple things to her with the help, my attorney had to be involved. I had to cooperate and give up information and contact information for him. And I did all of this. Basically, she wanted me able to have a couple people be able to step up for me and to have a legitimate address to where I could go, or at least have certain legal things sent to me, or they could at least come there and see me. And I, believe it or not, fellas, I really didn't know too many people at that point in my life. But one of them really did. I mean, the lawyer come back to the jail to talk to me or see me. And he even told me, he's like, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't believe you. But when I called these people, they right away were cooperative and vouched for you, gave the information, signed the home inspection. You think that mattered, guys? You think that mattered? I mean, I remember the day of my sentencing, that lawyer doing a video conference with me, telling me, hey, you're not going to like this, but even though all these things or whatever, so-and-so from the probation still wants 3 to 5 years in prison. I kid you not. The judge told me 10 days before that as long as you can prove this and these people sign this and state that this, she was like, I can't, whatever, on good faith, because the professionals involved say you don't have these issues and you don't qualify or don't need this stuff. Didn't matter, man. It didn't matter. I'm losing I got sentencing in like an hour. And I'm the most livid I've been in a long time. I've done everything right. Got someone vouch for me. Someone going to help me. Someone said I can be there for inspections and everything. And it didn't matter. The probation department was against it, was telling the judge no, denying every opportunity of a life for me or for me to go home. It was all being denied. So I got my sentencing, and I know what my charges are. I know everything that's going on. And I'm already prepared that I'm not getting out. I'm already prepared for everything bad happening to me, because I know what concurrent and consecutive means. I know what back-to-back means. I know what everything means. But I was unaware in the state that I live in that certain laws had changed for certain felonies, and certain things had changed for child support. And I was unaware that certain things have changed in my state regarding how a judge can sentence you and where they can put you. For example, if you've already been in trouble or if you've been in the prison system, they have certain things they can do to choose to not put you in prison, but you're still a convicted felon. You see what I mean? Like, you're still a convicted felon, but they can keep you in a better living situation or a better lockup facility. All these different things are now being explained to me by this judge, right? And I'm shaking. Of course, man, I'm going through it. I'm everything. And I don't even know how this happened, and I did get lucky. I went to prison. I did go to prison, but the gist of it, when she was reading the charges and what she wanted to do, like, I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, this might not go as bad as I'm thinking. I'm like, there might be a silver lining, a hope. I might go home. But then she starts telling me the changes in the law, right? And what she's allowed to do or what she's not allowed to do. And then the realization hits me that I am doing time. Like, I'm doing time. Now it's to figure out how long I'm going to do, where I'm going to do it at, and then how they're going to do the charges against me. You know what I mean? So she starts reading the different laws that have changed in my state regarding this whole situation. And I get the first break for myself was I don't have to do crazy sentence and crazy back-to-back stuff and crazy long things and all this. I get to do 2 for 1, basically. I don't have to, I get to do 2 for 1. But also, instead of the time the probation woman wanted and the other departments wanted to do to me, because of the changes in the law, I don't think she was legally allowed to sentence me to that. So she's reading this off to me, the changes, and then she's like, well, I don't think I can put you away for this. And she's like, I don't want to make your life any more detrimental than it already is. She was like, but I can't let you go free, and I can't let you go. You have to pay penance to the court, more or less. And she's like, Mr. So-and-so, I see you've had this in the past, and I see this and this. And she said, what I'm going to do is this. This is the time that I'm going to give you, and I'm going to do a 2-for-1, so you're not going to be doing this, and it's not going to be get released, then come right back. Get released, come right back, all this. And then she tells me, I have the choice. I can keep you in county jail still, but you're still a convicted felon. She said, or I can go ahead and just do this and yada, 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 and you'll be shipped out and go to prison. Well, lo and behold, fellas, I know what county jail is, and I kind of know the other side of the coin too. And I'm like, man, at least if I do this, I can go outside. I have way more freedoms. I'm not in a whatever with some weirdo. It's a different lifestyle. It's different. The time goes different. So she says, I'm sentencing you to prison, to do your time in prison. And I instantly was like, you know what? I got twice lucky with this one. Not only that, did I not get the time the probation stupid women wanted to do to me, but she's also putting me to where my time is going to fly instead of me sitting and doing the county jail routine all the time. I'm going to tell you that was a blessing in disguise. Simply because that whole case was over and done with. My non-support was finally over, regardless that I didn't do anything wrong. I never had to deal with that again. And the other thing that was cool about it was how the judge neglected the probation department and the pretrial stuff, and she only gave me a few months. And then she allowed me to do everything at once instead of over and over and over again. And I never had to, she's like, you don't have to come back here. My lawyer said you don't have to come back here. You ain't got to live here. Nothing. Like, do your time. Don't get in trouble in there. Don't get tickets. And the judge is done with you. You're done. This is where it gets crazy, guys, because boy, was I unaware of the changes in laws, the systems, everything. Guys, this is eye-opening experience, man. The moment that they ship me from the jail to prison, they hate you. The prison system does not want you. They do not want you, man. From the guards to the inmates with you, your bunkie, the medical staffing, the classification staffing, unit managers, you're a unit caseworker. I mean, dude, nobody wants you there. They hate you. They talk down on you. You are the lowest of the low inmates. All of the staffing people that you have to deal, you have to, man. Anybody that's been in the system knows I'm telling the truth. You got to get job classifications. You have to go through things like placed in dorms, placed here, placed there. You got to get evaluations so they know how to house you. You got to go through all these things so they don't put you in a situation where you do get hurt or you get put around the wrong people. Like that, the prison system is very different and very specific on things so they don't get sued and you don't get killed. So when you're going through all of this, you start to realize, man, don't nobody like you. Nobody likes you. They hate you. You're making them do work that they shouldn't have to do. And that's when I found out about the laws in my state. You're not even supposed to go to prison for this anymore. I had all these women and all these unit managers. I had captains and staff sergeants, the guys that carried the batons and had, the 3-decade-year pins on them. All these COs been in this system for 50 years. I had social workers that have been doing this, since the late 90s that were showing me all the law changes, and they're like, you're not supposed to be here. This isn't supposed to be this. You're making my facility a security risk. You're making this, and this. You're taking this from people that are going to be here 8 years. You're taking this from people who are murderers and who are the whatever society. Then you got people screaming in your face, we don't have debtor's prison. We don't do this anymore. The system doesn't even want you in there, man. And then when the inmates start finding out that you're in there for child support, bro, it's impossible. Because you're not a criminal. Nobody will, no, guys, you don't want this, man. I'm telling you, you don't want this. Not every person has the mental wherewithal and the capacity to navigate the criminal system. I'm telling you, man, I ain't never heard such degrading and whatever coming from the people who work for the system. These people should have been thrilled and happy and everything to kick me and everything and put me through the ringer. Bro, I'm telling you guys that it shocked me. The way they treat you, man. But yeah, fellas, that's the system. The system doesn't care, man. It don't matter what you do right. It don't matter how hard you try and how much you overdo. This boils down to your money. I don't care if you live in Utah. I don't care if you live in Indiana, Pennsylvania, Texas, Alabama. I don't care. I don't care, man. If you live in Alaska, this boils down to you as the man, that when you're on alimony or child support, you're worth a certain amount of money to the county that your stuff is issued through. That's what this is all about, fellas. The system wants you to be whatever because they're going to come get you, and eventually they're going to put you through this because you're worth money, okay? That's the bottom line, is it's because you're worth money. And the truth of the matter is, dude, the child support's two different things. It's the welfare system, and it's the females who want the money. That's all it is. And it's two different, how it goes is two different ways. If your child support has got nothing to do with because the mom's on welfare, then your situation's different than mine. And I don't know what really goes on because that's a whole different thing. Because you might not have a whole bunch of people wanting to lock you up, and you might not have stuff. They might only put you in jail for 2 weeks and let you back out. It's a whole different thing, because when these people are on food stamps and stupid housing and cash assistance, the other people want blood. Or it's a whole whatever, oh, somebody's paying, somebody's got to do this. Again, the people that have because the women just want the money and they're not on welfare, I don't know how that goes, because truthfully, the system doesn't have much to do with that, because the woman or the child is not getting anything from the system. That's why a lot of the men who whine or complain, you're only going to jail for 10 days or 30 days, man. I don't want to fucking hear it. Oops, sorry. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And like your child support is not the same as the people whose child support's because of welfare. They're not breathing down your neck. They're not doing it the same. They're not treating you the same way they're treating the men who are paying child support because of welfare. So I don't care, man. That's two different situations. The whole criminal system is two different things when it comes to that. And I know that because I saw it firsthand. I'm telling you, when I was waiting to be sentenced, there was a loser dude, had a loser woman, with the child support case. And it was not on welfare. It had nothing to do with welfare from what I remember. And that woman stood up to the magistrate and said, well, I'll just go ahead and drop the arrears, because if he goes to jail, it'll do whatever to the kid. And then whatever progress we've made as a family will be negated and will be pointless. That dude got to go home scot-free. That's what I'm saying to you. It's two different things, and nobody's transparent about any of this at all. Nobody is, man. Well, Reviving Real News is here to revive some real news, fellas. I'm telling you what this is about. This isn't about the well-being of the kid. This isn't about the well-being of you. This isn't about the well-being of the mother. This is about you are worth $1 amount to your county and your state, man. Don't matter how good you do. Don't matter how much you overdo. Don't matter how straight of a line you walk. You don't want this, fellas. You don't want this. And you don't want to know what's coming next afterwards, man. When you've got this on your freaking record, you've got this stigmatism, and you got to go back out into the real world. You don't want this. I don't want this for none of you. I don't want this, man. And I'm embarrassed even admitting these things and talking about this. I apologize for my excitement. You don't want this, guys. You don't. You don't want to know what's been done to me, man. You don't want to know what was said to me. You don't want to know. You don't want to know what they do to you, man. I wish I had somebody like myself that I could hear years ago so I could have an understanding of what was coming or what might happen so I could not go through it or get away from it. I didn't have somebody making a video to tell me anything. I care, guys, and I do know. I know what this is. I know everything, man. Ain't no one going to tell you. You don't want this, man. Prison is something that I really don't want to talk about because it's gross. But I'm telling you don't want it. Especially on child support, guys. You don't want to go to prison. You don't want to go. Prison and jail are two different animals, man. And look, I'm going to be cut and dry with you. Stop the lying to people about what prison is and about the sodomizing and touching. This isn't 1980 and this isn't 1994, guys. This ain't Shawshank Redemption, okay? Prison's not what it was back then. Back then, it was a wild, wild west and things happened, okay? Today, they have what's called Prison Rape Enforcement Act. It's a whole glass box in the institutions and all the dorms and every freaking building you go in. If you think someone's googly eyeing you or someone's watching you in a bathroom or someone's whatever when you're sleeping, you go break the glass case and hit the button and the whole squad comes in. Guys, these stories are nonsense. They don't be going around. Yeah, there are bad places. You're sure that's going to happen in the right environment. What I'm saying to you is, don't listen to the TV and the internet. Take it from somebody who's been in there. I know what I'm saying to you. You don't want it. You don't want it, man. You're better off going to jail or going whatever for a drug charge or for getting into a fight and hurting somebody. I'm telling you the truth. As far as the prison system goes, you're better off with that. Now, you're not better off in the real world with those charges, but to survive prison on a daily basis and everything, yeah. And guys, when you go to prison and you got child support, don't be sitting there thinking that you're going to be having people sending you food boxes, clothes boxes, and all kinds of commissary. You're going to be living like king. Hey, you got child support, yo. They're deducting that. You get what's called state pay in prison. Your child support comes out of you. You have to work a job in prison. You're paying your child support. It's coming out of that. I'm telling you the truth, man. You guys it ain't the same lifestyle for a murderer, a rapist, and everybody else, man. You don't want this. I'm telling you because I've lived this. You don't want this, man. Protect yourselves, man. Protect yourselves. Always keep your faith, your morals, your values, your principle, your standards, your ethics, your beliefs, your intuitions, everything, man. You don't want this. Nobody wants this. I don't wish this on any man. And I'm sorry, I'm sorry that people do deal with this. You don't want the prison stuff, man, because now I got to tell you what goes on when you get released. Now I got to tell you about the real world and what happens. Now I got to tell you about the struggle to get housing, where you really have to go into the system. Now you have to, because you're a convicted felon. Now I got to break down the whole thing about the employment and all of this. You see what I'm saying to you? I got to break all this. Like, this is, you guys don't want this, man. If you guys stand for nothing, you're going to fall for anything. This has been Reviving Real News. I appreciate you, gentlemen, and I'll talk again with you shortly.